mourning the loss of one of their own, a young boy killed in a raging house fire this morning after he ran back into the flames to save his father. Tonight, he's being remembered as a hero. Friday night, the big story on Action News is the investigation now underway into how that house fire started.
The flames broke out about 9 this morning in the 1000 block of Markley Street in Norristown. It took crews about an hour to get this fire under control. Action News reporter Vernon Odom live on the scene for us with the latest on this investigation. Vernon.
Good evening, Rick and Monica. No official ruling on the cause of this deadly fire so far tonight, and no official identification of the victim. But we have spoken extensively with his family, who identified him for us as 12-year-old Sanford Harling. This is cell phone video of firefighters rushing to the flame-engulfed home at Markley and Wayne Avenue this morning, moments after the fire broke out, as fear and desperation reigned here in Norristown. 12-year-old Sanford Harling perished in a horrific fire that erupted at his 3-story twin home this morning just before 9. At least 4 other family members were able to get out alive through windows, this witness told me.
The family was jumping out the back window. At one point, they realized somebody else was in there, and they turned and tried to run back in, and the neighbors were actually pulling them back to keep from coming in because there still weren't any cops here.
One family member did get back in. Sanford Harling thought his father was trapped on the 2nd floor. The 12-year-old, nicknamed Man battled his way back in through the smoke and flames, looking for his dad, only to suffer a cruel fate.
Once we got out, we under the thought that her husband, his father, was still in there. His father just had hip surgery, so he can't move around. And Man ran back in there to help his dad. Father ended up jumping out the 2nd floor window. Man got caught up in there.
Even firefighters were beaten back by flames when they tried to rescue the child. For hours, Sanford's family stood in the freezing morning air, grieving over the loss of the brave little boy who thought his dad was in harm's way. They never mentioned the material losses today, only the loss of the brave child. His father's in Paoli Hospital at this hour, suffering from a broken back, and like the rest of his family, suffering from a broken heart. Monica, the family lost all of their belongings in this fire this morning. A fund for the family is being organized by community leaders here. Live in Norristown, I'm Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Vernon. A Delaware County couple was trapped for hours this morning after a tree landed on top of their home. 77-year-old Marjane Cooper and her husband Alan were asleep when that tree came crashing down on their roof in Broomall. Alan survived, but his wife did not. Gray Hall, our reporter, will have more on the rush to free the couple and why investigators think that tree fell in the first place. Coming up tonight at 6.
Police in Delaware County are looking for an attempted armed robbery suspect tonight. They branded an urban terrorist. The suspect was caught on camera holding up a 7-Eleven on Long Lane in Upper Darby at about 10 o'clock last night. One employee was shot in the leg. On top of tracking down the suspect, police are trying to track down or figure out if he's responsible for 3 nearby holdups in recent weeks. Action News reporter Trish Hartman is live at the Upper Darby Police Station with the details tonight. Trish.
Well, that's right, Rick. The police chief called the suspect an urban terrorist and a thug today. Now, detectives hope someone will recognize that man who was caught on camera. They're also investigating to see if last night's holdup is connected to other crimes. Neighbors saw the commotion at the 7-Eleven on Long Lane after 10 o'clock last night.
Maybe something wrong, don't go outside.
Police say this man walked into the store and showed a small black handgun demanding money. The 31-year-old clerk was by himself at the counter. A co-worker was restocking the walk-in freezer.
Obviously, this guy was staking out the joint because there was nobody in there. There was no customer in there. They're not going to go in with a store full of people. It's just not going to happen that way.
When the clerk didn't give up the cash, police say the suspect fired, hitting the victim in the thigh. The suspect fled without taking anything. The victim was rushed to Penn Presbyterian Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Some customers were shocked by the violence in their neighborhood store.
And they're young, because I'm 71, so I know They could be my sons.
Upper Darby police are now investigating if this holdup is connected to 3 others in recent weeks. On January 22nd, police say this 7-Eleven in Broomall was robbed at gunpoint by 2 men. That same night, police responded to another armed robbery at a 7-Eleven in Tredyffrin Township. And on January 29th, Radnor police responded to an armed robbery at this 7-Eleven in Bryn Mawr, releasing this surveillance image of the suspects.
We do all the intelligence sharing, and there are similarities that would make one would think that there could be a group out there.
While the investigation continues, people in this area aren't letting their guard down.
I live with my mom, so I'm definitely let her know. You know, and she always comes here because she takes the bus and it stops right here.
Now, police say that clerk is in good condition tonight. The manager of the 7-Eleven tells me this was that victim's first month on the job. If you have any information about the suspect, you're asked to contact Upper Darby Police. We're live in Upper Darby. Trish Hartman, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Trish. From our New Jersey newsroom tonight, 34-year-old Marcia Bernard of Cherry Hill was sentenced to 21 years in prison for her involvement with an international drug ring. Prosecutors say Bernard received large shipments of cocaine through the Postal Service and other delivery services in New Jersey. She then distributed it to other drug traffickers. She was convicted along with one of the drug ring's leaders, 37-year-old Andrew Davis of Kingston, Jamaica. Davis is due back in court in May.
The Borgata Casino in Atlantic City says it'll stop making tax payments until the city forks over millions of dollars in tax refunds. Atlantic City owes the casino more than $170 million after the Borgata challenged its assessed value. This morning, a judge declared the city must pay the casino $62.5 million in tax refunds dating back to 2009. He also allowed the Borgata to stop making tax payments until the case remains unsolved.
The Garden State took the brunt of the wintry system that moved through our area this morning. The action cam in Mount Holly today, where enough snow fell for folks to have to shovel their sidewalks and brush off their cars here. Some towns did get more than 4 inches of snow, according to the National Weather Service. And now looking live for you at the Ben Franklin Bridge, a beautiful sunset sun and warmer temperatures helped to melt the snow as the day went on, making for a rather nice finish to the week, I think. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan live outside with the first look at the forecast for you today and through the weekend. Cecily.
Hi, Monica. The best kind of snow really didn't require a lot of shoveling. We had the sun and temperatures in the 40s to melt it. But Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that storm continues to bring some heavy snow to parts of New England. Parts of New England up to about a foot of snow. But behind that system that really brushed our region, we have the sinking air. So that's what brought us the return of the sunshine. As far as snow amounts, this was pretty much a nuisance event, but it came during the morning rush, so it did cause some problems. I know my kids were happy to get a 2-hour delay. Philadelphia, 1.2 inches. Horsham reporting 2.5. Wilmington, 1.5. Mount Holly, 3 inches. And Toms River kind of in that jackpot zone, getting 6 inches of that heavy, wet snow. So now temperatures rebounded very nicely. 42 degrees in Philadelphia now. Allentown, 38. Atlantic City Airport, 38. And Wilmington, 40. For your Friday night, if you're out in the town, temperatures will be dropping down into the mid-30s by 11 o'clock. So a pretty quiet Friday night. Now, after midnight, though, a lot of areas will drop below freezing. So do be careful. Could be some icy patches late tonight. I'll talk about what to expect for your Super Bowl weekend and also some snow on the way next week. All those details in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast, Rick.
All right, Cecily, see you back inside. Thank you. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey met with President Obama at the White House today to discuss national security. A spokesman for the senator and Casey said Casey was concerned about local ISIS threats. A teenager connected to the militant group was arrested in Harrisburg last year, and just last month, a Philadelphia police officer was ambushed on the street by an armed man who said he was attacking on behalf of ISIS.
The new mayor of Philadelphia is getting in touch with folks in his city through Twitter. He held his first monthly Twitter chat today from City Hall. The hashtag is simple, Ask Kenny. The mayor says this is part of his effort to increase government accessibility. Now, today's questions focused on everything from gun violence to what his favorite bands are. One tweet from @Jesse Royer asked about getting rid of plastic bags in grocery stores. His response, quote, working with City Councilman Mark Squia on renewed efforts to reduce plastic bag usage.
The city of Philadelphia has a new poet laureate. Mayor Jim Kenney appointed Yolanda Wisher to the position today. As the city's third ever poet laureate, Wisher will attend community events, speak at different schools, and serve as a mentor. Wisher's poetry has earned her many accolades, and she is a 2015 Pew Fellow. You can see Wisher delivering her first poem as Poet Laureate, by the way. You can do it right now by going to our website at 6abc.com.
Very nice. And time right now for Check of the Action News Traffic Report Friday night.
Probably not poetry in motion.
Not so nice.
Okay. But we're folks trying to get home for that weekend, though, man.
They're trying for sure, and we're all going red today, right, Rick and Monica?
Right.
Well, so are the drivers on 95. They're getting in the action. They're hitting their red brake lights. We're seeing lots of them here in the southbound lanes between Business 1 and 413. It's because of those emergency pothole repairs that we're blocking a lane for about 45 minutes. The crews have pulled away now, so both southbound lanes are open. The damage is done. I have a police officer trying to head up ahead. I believe there may be something on the shoulder up there. Earlier we said maybe use one southbound instead, but now we're getting reports of a crash over there. So at this point, stick with 95, but expect a slow go. In the Holmesburg section of the city, a crash brought down a traffic signal at Frankfurt and Pennypack. And our first week of the closure of the Falls Bridge, now done. Only 8 weeks to go. Hope you're getting through that okay. In Pennsbury Township, still have a downed tree and wires along Parkerville Road, and crossing across the Delaware state line on 202 the Concord Pike northbound by Murphy Road. Watch out for a water main break there by the Best Western. We'll check it again, Rick and Monica, coming up in the next half hour.
All right, thank you, Matt. Much more still ahead on Action News at 5 tonight. A deadly crane collapse in the middle of Lower Manhattan. Coming up at 5:30, what investigators are saying caused the piece of heavy equipment to come crashing down on several buildings and 2 city blocks.
But first, the new guidelines from the CDC aimed at curbing the spread of Zika virus here in the U.S. when Action News returns tonight. President Obama to ramp up America's response to the spread of the Zika virus.
That's right. This on the same day the CDC released new guidelines regarding the virus. Officials say men who have visited an area affected by Zika should use condoms if they have sex with a pregnant woman. They also suggested using condoms or abstaining from sex even with women who are not pregnant. In 2 cases, the virus has been transmitted sexually. Meanwhile, in Brazil, officials want pregnant women to think twice before kissing anyone. Researchers in South America recently found that the Zika virus is active in saliva. Pregnant women are also advised not to share cutlery, glasses, or plates with those who have symptoms of Zika. Today's warning comes amid suspected links between the Zika virus and birth defects.
The country's unemployment rate has dipped to 4.9%. That is the lowest level in nearly 8 years. Today's report from the Labor Department shows employers added 151,000 jobs last month. Now, technically, that is a slowdown in hiring, at least compared to November and December. Experts said today's report, though, further clouds the country's economic outlook. Stocks lost more ground today after that jobs report disappointed investors. All sectors were hit, but tech stocks took it the worst. The Dow Jones dropped more than 211 points today. The Nasdaq fell 146 and change. The S&P 500 lost 35.5 points by the end of trading.
Well, Apple is doing something it's never done before. It will now accept your damaged iPhone. They'll accept banged-up iPhones as a trade-in if the person wants to upgrade. Until now, Apple offered credit to iPhone owners, and only if the device had an intact screen and working buttons. Apple hopes that with more leeway, more people will upgrade to new iPhones.
A Delaware County school won cash and a pep rally for having an all-pro teacher. David Miller teaches at Pencrest High and Media. The Philadelphia Eagles and Exalta, a paint manufacturer, chose Miller as its Teacher of the Year. Swoop and the cheerleaders took part in today's pep rally that included all kinds of fun and games in the school's gym. Pencrest also got $11,000 for science, technology, engineering, and math initiatives. Terrific.
Well, a local retired veteran had the surprise of his life today when he was given a like-new vehicle.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious. Never in bigger luck.
Danton Martins, retired from the U.S. Army, was presented with a fully restored 2004 GMC Yukon Denali. Motorcar Makeovers in Bluebell held an online contest to choose which vet would get the vehicle. Martin served in the Army from 1979 to 1988. For the past 5 years, both he and his wife had been battling cancer.
They all put in their own time, how they have vendors who donate parts, and they have all these other people involved who do it all for, a charitable type basis, and that's what makes it really special.
The vehicle was donated by someone who wanted to remain anonymous and only asked that it went to a U.S. veteran.
Very nice. And still ahead on Action News at 5, a special needs employee fired from Dorney Park. The online rant that went viral and now has the amusement park offering to hire him back.
But first in Health Check, Super Bowl Sunday isn't just about the football, it's also about the food. Allie Gorman has a healthy twist on some party favorites. But Action News continues in just a moment.
Health Check.
Super Bowl just 2 days away, and it's a weekend that's as much about the parties as it is about the game.
And the munchies. The average person does eat 2,400 calories just at a Super Bowl Sunday party. Well, it's a lot. There are ways, though, to lessen that damage. Health reporter and registered nurse Allie Gorman here with some alternatives. Hi, Allie.
Hi, guys. And I know, Rick, for some people, this is just one day and they like to indulge. But if you are watching your waistline or you don't want to undo all the work you did at the gym, well, then we have some healthy alternatives. Pizza, chicken wings, chips, soda, beer, and cookies. These are just some Super Bowl snacks that can derail your diet. But Courtney Rosas, owner of Farmers Road Drive-Thru in Chadds Ford, shows us some healthier options.
Alternatives are just baked or dehydrated, so it's still the foods that you love, just prepared differently.
Starting with crunch. Instead of chomping on chips, go for dried or dehydrated veggies.
So this is the rutabaga, this is turnip, peanut butter popcorn.
That's popcorn topped with peanut butter powder. You can also have kale chips with ranch seasoning or brush on malt vinegar. Traditional veggies with hummus or a healthy black bean dip with high fiber and protein will also fill you up so you'll eat less later. Instead of the ever-popular chicken wings, Courtney has a different creation.
And we call it, when we describe it, a healthy chicken wing on a rack. So we have our free-range grilled chicken, a little bit of hot sauce, blue cheese, lettuce, onion, and we topped it with a house-made barbecue chips.
And it's less than 300 calories. You can also try her loaded sweet potato skins. For dessert, skip the iced brownies and chocolate chip cookies. A healthier homemade cookie bite will save you some sugar.
Oats, peanut butter, honey.
Then mix in Reese's, chocolate chips, or raisins. When it comes to drinks,
soda, that can really add up in terms of calories and sugar.
Courtney says if you want to control the sweet, make your own soda with sparkling water and homemade syrup, such as ginger or honey peach. Or go for straight seltzer with lemon or lime.
And we have some of those recipes on 6abc.com. I have some samples for Monica.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
wait a minute.
For Rick, I have some kale chips.
I think you'll love those. I tried one. They're good.
My favorite.
Yeah, go for it. I want to watch.
I'll try anything, what?
You said it looked like something found in a jar when he was raking. You'll eat my cookies. Thank you, Allie. We'll take a break and be right back. Wait a minute. You give me that. For that all-important action with the forecast and the Action News Big Board to check out your weekend.
Yes, Cecily checking out some of the skiing behind you.
That's right.
That slope looks familiar to me.
Oh, really? Where is Bunny
it?
Slope.
Yes.
Spring Mountain. It is Spring Mountain. Exactly. You know, whenever we get snow here, people think about skiing, and the ski resort Spring Mountain looking pretty busy, and I'll be at Camelback on Sunday watching my son ski. I'm trying to get Rick to go skiing with me, too. Come on.
Sure.
I'll pay your lift ticket, I swear. Wow. All right now, wind speed show you that it is breezy out there, 21 miles per hour in Philadelphia, 16 in Allentown, 20 in Wilmington. So the temperature combined with the wind makes the wind chill generally around 30 degrees, 33 in Philadelphia, 29 in Allentown, 31 at the Atlantic City Airport, and 30 in Wilmington. Tonight, once the sun sets, the winds will diminish, and we do have clearing skies. Satellite 6, along with Action Radar, showing here's that storm system that provided us that glancing blow. That is moving out to sea. We have high pressure that's building in from the west. So what that will do is bring us a really nice-looking first weekend of February. Tonight, temperatures dropping below freezing, so do be careful. Any wet roads that haven't been blown dry, that are untreated, will be icing over. 28 degrees in Philadelphia, 20 in Allentown, 28 in Atlantic City and Wilmington, 24 degrees. And future trackers showing for your Saturday, looking really nice. Temperatures just slightly above normal. Good amount of sunshine at 4 o'clock, 43 degrees in Philadelphia. We will see some high, thin clouds late in the day, but they do not contain any moisture, so it will be a dry, Super Bowl weekend here. So the 5-day forecast, the 5-day at 5, showing tomorrow sun with a few high, thin clouds late in the day. The high 45 degrees. Average high for this time of the year is 42. So slightly above normal. And then temperatures really get mild on Sunday. Again, we'll have some high, thin clouds. I think we'll see more clouds on Sunday than Saturday, but it's a bit of a trade-off because it's also going to be slightly warmer with a high up to 50 degrees. Then on Monday, mixture of clouds and sun, the clouds building late in the day, 44 degrees, and Monday through Tuesday, expecting a period of snow. A lot of people have been asking me about this system. Doesn't look to be a monster storm, but it looks like we will get some either light to moderate snow from this. We'll talk more about the atmospheric setup for this snow event in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. The high 39 degrees, and Wednesday kind of gloomy, rather cloudy, a little bit on the cool side with a high of 39. Again, we will talk more about the chance of snow on Tuesday coming up in the full AccuWeather 7-day forecast. But the weekend's looking great. Rick, come skiing with me. I'll pay.
You'll pay my lift ticket.
I'll pay your lift ticket.
And you'll feed me.
I swear. I'll buy you a burger.
Thank you, Cecily.
Much more still to cover on next half hour of Action News at 5. I'm thinking about it. Troubling new developments in the investigation into the explosion on a Somali jetliner, when investigators are now saying about how an explosive device actually got on board.
Plus, a little girl's quick actions ended up saving her mom's life in Philadelphia. We'll have her incredible story. Those stories and more when Action News comes right back.
Action News continues with meteorologist Adam Joseph, Jamie Apodi, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
Hello again, and here's what's happening on Action News tonight. Heart-stopping moments along several city blocks in New York when a 200-foot crane crashed in the street today, trapping people in their cars. The Democratic presidential candidates spar over the issues in their first one-on-one debate ahead. Plus, a story that's going viral tonight. A young man with special needs who spent more than a decade working at Dorney Park is told not to come back. We will have his story.
But first, it happened without warning during a snow squall in lower Manhattan today. A massive construction crane suddenly toppled over onto the street below, crushing several cars and ultimately killing a man and injuring 2 others. Authorities say workers were in the process of securing the 200-foot boom crane when a gust of wind pushed it over. It happened during the morning rush near Worth and Church Streets in the Tribeca neighborhood. Among the victims, a 38-year-old man who was killed while sitting in his car. We get more now from Rob Nelson, a reporter from our sister station, WABC.
This video obtained by TMZ shows the dramatic seconds right after this towering crane, which stood nearly 600 feet in the air and weighed more than 300 tons, came crashing to the ground on Worth Street in Tribeca just before 8:30 this morning.
Because, again, the crane was being lowered into the secure position and the construction workers were blocking off the area, the danger to people on the street was lessened, and thank God we didn't have more injuries and we didn't lose more people.
The crane, which had been used to move AC units on top of this building at 60 Hudson Street, suddenly collapsed, crushing cars and swiping 4 buildings on its way down. Stunned residents thought it was a bomb or even an earthquake.
There's too much construction going on in Manhattan at the same time, and the Department of Buildings cannot keep up and cannot make everyone safe.
This footage shows the hole left behind when a piece of equipment similar to a wrecking ball crashed into a nearby building, literally landing on someone's desk. The extensive wreckage now lines several blocks along Worth Street.
We had a street-based crane topple 4 blocks and flipped over. We had a wrecking ball that has gone through the roof that is starting to 57 Worth Street.
Because of high winds this morning, crews were in the midst of trying to put this crane in a secure position when the tragedy struck. The massive investigation forced evacuations of local commercial buildings and also impacted subways, buses, and streets. It also forced officials to investigate gas leaks and the structural integrity of nearby buildings.
FDNY and Con Ed have been sweeping all the related buildings along Worth Street constantly. So far, they have not detected the type of gas levels that give them additional fear of any further problems, but they are literally sweeping them every 15 minutes to check gas levels.
Mayor de Blasio says this is the worst crane accident in New York City since 2008. In fact, the crane behind me, now laying on its side, had just been inspected yesterday morning. Reporting from Lower Manhattan, Rob Nelson, Channel 6, Action News.
Here at the big board now, we are just 4 days from the New Hampshire primary, and candidates on both sides are pulling no punches. Democrats Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton went head-to-head, as you know, last night, and an average of some polls taken by RealClearPolitics.com shows that Sanders still has a sizable lead with 55% support. Hillary Clinton still at 37.7%, and she is struggling to try to break that into a smaller amount. Now, as we mentioned, Hillary Clinton and Sanders squared off in their first one-on-one debate, and neither side held back when it came to proving to voters that they are progressive.
That's why I am laying out a specific agenda that will make progress, get more jobs with rising incomes, get us to universal health care coverage.
So to my mind, what we have got to do is wage a political revolution where millions of people who have given up on the political process stand up and fight back.
Both sides also sparred over experience in dealing with foreign affairs, particularly the threat from ISIS.
The Secretary Clinton, who was Secretary of State for 4 years, has more experience. That is not arguable in foreign affairs. But experience is not the only point. Judgment is.
When it comes to judgment, having run a hard race against Senator Obama at the time, he turned to me to be Secretary of State. And when it comes to the biggest counterterrorism issues that we faced in this administration, namely whether or not to go after bin Laden, I was at that table. I was exercising my judgment. It's just too...
Meantime, a different poll, a national poll that's new, shows the race between Sanders and Clinton is also neck and neck in that case. Now, on the Republican side, the latest poll here again, an average from RealClearPolitics.com, shows Donald Trump continues to lead the pack, although this is a slightly smaller number, 31.1%, down from what he had just yesterday in New Hampshire's Republicans. Marco Rubio, about half that at 15%, Ted Cruz, and a new battle for him with John Kasich, both of them coming in at 11% plus a change a little bit. The candidates crisscross the state meantime today, trying to hold some other events and to shore up their voters. New Hampshire Secretary of State says he is expecting record voter turnout next Tuesday. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie picked up a big endorsement meantime today. Fellow Republican Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker says Christie has shown a proven ability to work across the political aisle. Baker says he was moved to endorse Christie in part because he did not feel that either of the top Republican candidates, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, had the ability to forge a consensus. Now, tomorrow night, the top 7 Republican candidates who are remaining will square off in the final debate before the New Hampshire primary right here on 6 ABC. World News anchor David Muir and this week co-anchor Martha Raddatz will moderate the debate. You can see that live at 8 p.m. again. That's tomorrow night right here on 6 ABC. And I'll be headed to New Hampshire this weekend to cover the first presidential primary for you. And you can look for my live reports from Manchester, New Hampshire, starting Sunday night on Action News. Rick?
All right, Monica, thank you. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says he feels vindicated after United Nations panel ruled his detainment unlawful. Assange stood on the balcony of the Ecuadorian embassy in London this afternoon and talked to his supporters. Assange has been at the embassy since 2012 when he sought temporary asylum there. Investigators in Sweden want to talk to him about a rape allegation, and the UK says it is legally bound to extradite him if he leaves the embassy. We are getting new details tonight about the explosion on a Somali passenger jet. Investigators suspect the explosion on Tuesday was caused by a small IED hidden in a laptop, and they believe the bomber was seated near where the hole was blown and was sucked out of the plane. Government officials in Somalia say the attack was orchestrated by the Al-Qaeda affiliate Al-Shabaab, but no group has yet taken responsibility. World News Tonight with David Muir will have much more on the investigation into the explosion on that Somali jetliner, as well as a look at the presidential race as we head into a busy weekend in New Hampshire. You can watch it all tonight at 6:30, following Action News at 6.
In other news, police are searching for the man who robbed a gas station in Plymouth Meeting. Officers released this surveillance video from inside the American gasoline station on East Ridge Pike. Police say during the robbery Tuesday night, the man showed the clerk a gun and ordered that person to open the cash register. The suspect was able to grab some money and run away. Firefighters are investigating how an early morning blaze started here in Camden. The fire damaged 2 homes in the 400 block of Lansdowne Avenue. One house was occupied, the other vacant. Fortunately, everyone made it out safely. The Red Cross is now helping a family of 4 with shelter and other needs. And when breaking news or weather events happen in your neighborhood, join the action. Just email us your photos and videos to join the action at 6abc.com or use the hashtag 6abcaction on social media.
A police officer was not injured after being involved in a minor crash in Pemberton, New Jersey. The accident happened about 10 o'clock this morning here on the 200 block of Pemberton-Browns Mill Road. The officer was conducting traffic around a downed tree when the police car was rear-ended by a black sedan. There were no serious injuries to the officer or the other driver, but there was damage to both vehicles. The accident remains under investigation. An investigation is underway tonight after a fire broke out at John Bartram High School in southwest Philadelphia. This viewer video shows smoke coming out of the window at the school in the middle of your screen there. Students were evacuated as a precaution. And this is what it looked like when Chopper 6 was over the scene just before 1 this afternoon. Investigators are still trying to figure out how the blaze started.
Time to get a check of that traffic situation for you on a Friday night evening rush hour.
Busy Friday night. Matt Pellman, how are you looking?
Yeah, it's the kickoff to the Super Bowl weekend, and we're doing so with some big backups in Bucks County, Rick and Monica, like this one on 95 southbound side. The pothole patching crews just went through here again in the southbound lanes by 413. They seem to have moved on now, but not before causing an accident and causing some big delays with speeds in the low 20s. So for a while I was saying use the superhighway, southbound 1 instead. Well, then there was a crash over there. There's still some debris, some glass on the roadway southbound by Neshaminy. So at this point, I think maybe 13 southbound would be your best bet. In Center City, plenty of autos on the Vine Street Expressway this afternoon in both directions. And it's going to stay busy on the Vine and the local streets all weekend as the auto show wraps up on Sunday. Getting word of a bad crash in East Brandywine head-on. Someone trapped in the wreckage along Creek Road near Dowland Forge Road. Good spot to avoid. And over on 202 in Chester County, it's a slope crawl on the southbound side, but the earlier crash by 30 has cleared. Rick and Monica, have a good weekend.
You do the same. Thanks, Matt.
Still ahead on Action News tonight, a story from the Lehigh Valley that has sparked outrage on social media. A young man who has special needs and worked for more than 10 years at Dorney Park is told not to come back. You will hear from him coming up.
Also, a local principal makes good on a deal she made with her students and cuts off most of her hair. We'll tell you why everyone is smiling tonight.
Wow.
Adam.
And Rick, we started with snow this morning, ending with sunshine, and the weekend looking really nice, but we'll track a little more snow to come next week in that AccuWeather 7-day forecast.
A little more. He said a little more.
Yeah, it's always a little when you're the weatherman.
Those stories and much more when Action News at 5 continues tonight. There was an uproar on social media over a recent decision not to rehire a special needs employee at Dorney Park in Lehigh County. 30-year-old Chris Emery has worked at Dorney for the past 12 summers. The park put a new interview process in place this week, and last week his mother was told by Dorney managers that Emery didn't do well enough in the interview to be rehired. A fellow Dorney employee and friend of Chris posted what happened on Facebook, and it got everyone talking.
I just don't want to work out Dorney no more. I'm more interested in going to play the games because some kids make fun of me at Dorney Park.
Dorney Park's general manager released a statement which said, in part, when I became aware of this situation, I requested that we immediately reach out to him and his family to let them know that we would happily welcome Chris back for a 13th season. But Chris has refused.
A second grader in Cheltenham Township was recognized in front of her entire school for possibly saving her mom's life. On December 29th, little 8-year-old Jayla Martin called 911 after her mother became very sick. Emergency responders said during the call, Jayla was composed and very helpful. And one of the officers who responded was so impressed, she said the young girl should be recognized. And that's what happened today at Myers Elementary. Jayla's mother was there as well, of course.
I'm very proud of her. I don't think I could ever express to her how proud I am of her. It would have been a totally different outcome if she didn't. She wouldn't have called 911.
Surprised, proud, happy.
Lieutenant Jessica Bardo described Jayla's actions as nothing short of amazing. And during the other presentation, she talked to students as well about the importance of 911 calls. A very sweet little girl.
Wow. All right. Time for sports. Jamie's here. One of the biggest, most anticipated events of the year. Talking about the Wing Bowl, but that's later. Right? We're talking about Super Bowl.
We'll get to that too.
Different bowl.
Your menu ready? Speaking of the Wing Bowl, is it ready?
It is ready.
Mine's not. I can't cook.
Okay.
I'll
We knew
call
that.
for takeout. Yeah, I know. Super Bowl Sunday, right around the corner, because today's Super Friday. And while we all ponder what kind of wings we want, the Panthers and Broncos are preparing for Super Bowl 50. There are so many storylines to this game. Charismatic Cam Newton, who has helped Carolina dominate all year. Almost 40-year-old Peyton Manning, a legend, likely playing in his final NFL game. Two quarterbacks in two different stages of their careers, both gunning for that Lombardi trophy.
We are grateful for the opportunity and looking forward to finishing the week with hopefully a couple of good practices, and we can translate that onto the field Sunday.
We've been in this moment before, but as an organization, we have yet to win a Super Bowl. So if we win it, it'll mean a lot to so many people.
The Flyers may be playing good hockey, but their playoff chances took a big hit today when we learned that Sean Couturier will miss 4 weeks with a lower body injury. Couturier has 16 points in the last 16 games. Last night, the Flyers won their third straight, beating the Predators 6-3 in Nashville. Even more impressive, given this is a team that had allowed only 1 goal each of their last 5 games. Claude Giroux made it 4-1 in the second, and after the Preds cut the Flyers' lead to just 1 in the third, Wayne Simmons put it away. Both Simmons and Giroux scored twice, and the Flyers have now scored at least 4 goals in their last 3 games. Our Jeff Staversky caught up with Dave Haxtell today.
How important is it to take what you guys did in Nashville and kind of keep this going over the weekend?
We just turn the page to the next day. You know, I mean, we've played some pretty good teams over the past, 3 games here. We play a real good team tomorrow. We just turn the page and go to work tomorrow.
Things are really looking up for Temple football these days. Sunday, they will have a former player, Brandon McManus, kicking in the Super Bowl. And earlier this week, Matt Rule landed a great recruiting class. 26 new student athletes will head to North Broad Street, surely persuaded by the record-setting season. Among them, 6'4", 230-pound quarterback Anthony Russo from Archbishop Wood. The kid threw for 35 touchdowns last year. He won 2 state titles at Wood. He thinks that makes him the perfect fit for the Owls.
Coach Rule in this recruiting class, he just recruited a lot of people that are used to winning. That's kind of his mentality is you got to want to win. So having guys in our class that are just winners and all they want to do is win is something that's really going to help us out as a program.
Jeff Skaversky has much more with Anthony Russo, the new Temple quarterback, coming up at 6. Of course, in this town, as Chip Kelly once said, the most important bowl next to the Super Bowl is the Wing Bowl. And today, the annual display of debauchery commenced in all of its saucy glory down at the Wells Fargo Center. And for the second time in 3 years, Molly Schuyler took the crown. She downed 429 wings in about a half hour, 33 pounds of chicken, 1/4 of her weight, 77,650 calories worth.
I'm ecstatic. This is awesome. This is the best day of my life. This is so cool.
Also, Rick and Monica, a new record was broken.
Okay.
7 eaters were disqualified today. 1 for cheating, 6 for throwing up.
Oh,
Right.
lovely. Okay,
And
that
Den-
might be TMI at dinner
Dennis
time.
Rodman was around here.
And he was there too. Hey, I provide all the Wing Bowl stats.
Thank
Yes,
you.
do. Thank you. It's tasty. Quick break. More news when we come back. Stay with us.
Okay.
The gym of Scenic Hills Elementary School in Springfield turned into a hair salon this afternoon. Principal Madeline Power O'Dowd challenged students to raise money for the Brunner Bash. That's an event honoring an area teacher who died from cancer. In exchange for their efforts, the principal let one of the teachers chop off most of her hair. The hair will go to Wigs for Kids. It was a fun time had by all today in Springfield.
Very nice. All right, meteorologist Adam Joseph here to tell us if the snow's out of here, at least for now.
It is out of here. The sunshine is back and just in time for Rick's birthday weekend.
Happy sunshine.
Thank you very much.
29 again and again and again.
Is that place
3 times? I think it's what, 2 times over? 2.5 times?
Carry the 1.
Right? All right, you know, by the time I get done with this 3-minute weathercast,
You can
you'll know
add
the
it
answer.
Okay.
Keep doing it over, in
Let's
the
see,
air. As we
time.
take a look at Double Scan Live radar, really not much happening after this morning's wet snow that passed through. We ended the day very quiet and a little on the coolish side. I mean, temperatures were above normal this afternoon, but those wind chills stayed in the 30s. Our high came in at 2 o'clock or 2:01 this afternoon at 44 degrees. The low this morning, pretty mild. That's why we had that very wet snow that melted on the pavement. The low is only 37 degrees. The normal low should be right around 26 this time of year, and the record low in 1918, 2 degrees below zero. Right now, wind chills still below freezing across much of the area, the exception Philadelphia and Wildwood coming in a little bit above that, and in the Poconos, a biting wind where it only feels like 16. High pressures now in control, and you can see much of the lower 48 pretty quiet. The only place still seeing some of that snow is in eastern New England, northern New England, even Boston beginning to clear out now with that snowfall, and we saw a lot of sunshine return this afternoon. In fact, that sunshine will stick around here both Saturday and Sunday. Just a few high clouds tomorrow, a little more in the way of high clouds on Sunday, but temperatures feeling pretty good. 45 degrees on Saturday, and then on Sunday we will top off at 50 degrees for the first weekend of February. Then beyond that, at the end of the weekend here on Sunday at 4:30 p.m., we're looking at a snapshot of about 18,000 feet above our heads. This is where the atmosphere starts to pull storms together. There'll be this large area of energy down to the south, and this will develop a massive storm east of the Carolinas, and this will head out to sea. What this will do is set up the atmosphere for failure, so to speak. As that heads away, the atmosphere is overworked. So as another round of energy comes in on Tuesday from the north and west, you can see this area of red. As that passes by, it will try to develop a coastal storm, but there's really nothing there for it to really bomb out. So as it pulls through, we will get some energy and a little bit of snow, but not a big storm as it's looking right now for Tuesday. So this is what we know in breaking it down Monday night and Tuesday. Not a major storm. It'll be rather disorganized. A light to moderate snow is expected, and again, it looks to be that very wet consistency like we went through this morning, so that means low snow ratios and really can't pile up all that much. As we look at the exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, sun and a few clouds, Saturday 45. Beautiful here for Super Bowl Sunday. Still mild on Monday, 44 degrees of sun and clouds. That period of snow here on Tuesday is likely, but again, there's that temperature up close to 40 degrees during that event. And then staying at 40 with a lot of clouds on Wednesday, and then colder air eventually pulls in at the end of next week. I will call it blustery with temperatures around freezing with wind chills in the 20s. So the weekend, enjoy.
Thank you.
This is my
Happy
present
birthday.
to you.
Oh, that's nice.
Cheapskate. I didn't have to do anything.
We're going to go to break. Have a good one. We'll be right back.
Remember, the Action News team standing by with these stories and much more coming up next at 6 o'clock. A freak accident claims the life of a woman who was in the bedroom of her home in Broomall.
And a 12-year-old boy from Norristown is being hailed a hero tonight after dying trying to save his own dad. We'll have those stories and more coming up. Now for Adam Joseph, Cecily Tyne, and Jamie Apodi, Rick Williams, the entire Action News team, I'm Monica Melpass. Have a good night and a great weekend.
Good night.